ఇది అడ్జస్ట్ చేసుకొచ్చి పెద్దగా తీసి ఇటు నుంచి అట్టు కృష్ణ ఇంకా దీనికి ఇటు పైనుంచి క్లాస్ మధ్య మరీ అందరం పడిపోకుండా కొంచెం తగ్గించు కొంచెం పైకి
back in the junk.
It's open. Oh, wish you a very happy Hindus.
Oh, thank you. Wish you one also. Every day is a new year.
Yeah.
So I hope you do very well in your work environment and in your devotion. Thank you. Well, Maharaj. Vallabh Maharaj. How come you don't wear socks? You don't feel cold, eh?
It became late also, that's why.
To put a socks, that's late. You're already late, so putting a socks shouldn't be right. So, I think before we start, I want to wish everyone a happy new year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, and I hope you all are more Krishna conscious than last year, this year. Continue increasing your devotional life as well as in your material endeavors. It doesn't hold you back from your devotional life. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Nasta Prashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. So we're continuing our reading from Canto 3, the Status Quo, Chapter 25, Glories of Devotional Service, Text 24.
Taite sadavah sadvi
Taiti sadhava
sarva sangha vivarjitaha Sangasteshvatate prarthayaha
Sangasteshvatate prarthayaha
Sangadoshaharahite
O my mother, O virtuous lady, these are the qualities of great devotees who are free from all attachment. You must seek attachment to such holy men, for this counteracts the pernicious effects of material attachment and the bad effects of material attachment. So it's Sangha dosha, that means not good thing. Dosha is not a good thing. So like that. So he's encouraging her to first identify the the qualities, right? Titikshashva, titikshavaha karunika, surya sarvadehina, ajata satrava shantaha, sadhava sadhubhushana. Yeah. So he's telling her that qualities, and then engaging always in chanting, hearing about him, all those qualities should be understood, and then when you know that, then you associate with such people. Don't associate otherwise. Okay? In the purport, Prabhupada writes, Kapila Muni herein advises his mother, Devahuti, that if she wants to be free from material attachment, she should increase her attachment for the sadhus or devotees who are completely freed from all material attachment. Basically, best association is with people who have no material attachment. So they are the best class of associate. Meaning that they may, even though they are in the material world, even though they are maybe using material things, they are not really attached to those material things, or do they feel that they need it, otherwise their life is gone. Like many people in America, they must have a TV in their home, otherwise they go crazy. Yeah? No, an average American is like that. You find even how poor they are, they have a TV in their home. So
if we tell them like we don't have TV, they really get surprised.
Yeah, they get
what
surprised.
kind of person you are.
Yeah, they think something is wrong. So like that, there's many things we don't really need it. It's not dependent. Our life is not dependent on that. So we have to understand that. Prabhupada continues in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, verse 5. It is stated, who is qualified to enter into the kingdom of Godhead? It is said there, Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Doshaha. This refers to one who is completely freed from the puffed up condition of material possessiveness. A person may be materially very rich, opulent or respectable. But if he at all wants to transfer himself to the spiritual kingdom, back home, back to Godhead, then he has to be freed from the puffed up condition of material possessiveness, because that is a false position. That's what Kapila Muni is telling her. You don't want Sangha Dosha, don't want such things. In the next paragraph, Prabhupada writes towards the middle, we have to seek the association of such devotees who are freed from contaminated association. For this reason, we have begun the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. There are many mercantile, scientific and other associations in human society to develop a particular type of education or consciousness, but there is no association which helps one to get free from all material association. If anyone has reached the stage where he must become free from this material contamination, then he has to seek the association of devotees, wherein Krishna consciousness is exclusively culture. One can thereby become free from all material association. So that is the reason why Srila Prabhupada established International Society for Krishna Consciousness, or ISKCON. Because there's so many associations out there, they make you become attached to material life. So many associations you can have. But there's no association will tell you that we will help you get out of material life. So Prabhupada said, I have started that. I will help people to get free from the material contamination. Okay. So finally, in the last paragraph, at the end, Prabhupada says, one should therefore give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of persons engaged in Krishna consciousness, and by such association he will benefit in spiritual advancement. By their words and instructions he will be able to cut off his attachment to material existence. So when you associate with devotees, you will find devotees always will help you give up some bad habits. Basically. And what bad habit means? That which pertains to material things generally. Or identifying with the body and pleasure for the body, habituated to those things are all bad habits. The devotees will help you cut off those attachments. So that's the reason why you want to have association. Do you guys want to go next room and do your coloring and talking? Maybe it's better that way. Text 25.
ततान्तसङ्गायमवीर्यसंविदो भवन्ति हृत्कर्णरसायनकथाः
तज्जोषणादश्वपवर्गवर्गमणि श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is free and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotion service begin. So, our experience is there, right? When we are here associating among ourselves, reading Bhagavatam, discussing Krishna's pastimes, or hearing about his pastimes, you don't go back and feel, oh no, this was terrible, I heard all the pastime like that. You don't feel that. You never go through that kind of emotions at all. Rather you are happy, peaceful, you can sleep and all that. That's what it is. It's pleasing and satisfying. Right? But when you hear so many things about outside things, you don't feel pleased. Okay, you get anxiety, you get disturbed, right? Generally people talk about something in this world is because they are disturbed about it, right? Obamacare, right now.
Started for January.
Okay, 1st January started. So then everybody is talking about because they are all disturbed about it. Who talks about when they are happy about something? Yeah? Very few they will share their happiness. Generally, right? If they strike a lottery, they won't come and tell you, I struck. Right?
I think people will feel envious.
Yeah, generally people are envious of one another, so they don't want to tell anything. But when you talk about Krishna, you feel happy. You really feel happy. You don't get anxiety, you don't get heart attack for hearing this, right? you get to be satisfied and you understand this is good for me, like that. Prabhupada says when in the translation, Kapila Muni is explaining that as you keep hearing, as you become satisfied, means you accept it. One of the things is you accept the statements of scripture also. Of course, through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, like that, you accept. So, as you hear it, you become convinced, you become satisfied that this is the right thing. That will allow you to cultivate knowledge. What to do, how to do it, like that. And then, when you do things favorably, then you will make advancement. Your consciousness will get purified. That means your mood will be favorable towards devotional practices. You will feel enthused to do devotion. You will find that. You say, I like to do this. It makes me feel better, peaceful. At first that's what you will say. Later on you will find that it is the joy of your life. So that means you see that you are actually making advancement. Yeah. It's less attached to material things. Even the news you will watch and you say, not interested. Let me take Krishna book and read. Then you say, oh, this is so nice. So that means attraction for material things getting less and less. Right. Then even when something bad happens, you will think, oh, how unfortunate for this jiva suffering. Yeah? I wonder what Krishna is trying to teach to this jiva. You'll think in that way. I wonder what lesson I can learn from this in devotional life. So that the mood changes. That's why association helps us to come out of our fixed mentality, material mentality. And so thereafter he is freed from his false ego, and his attraction becomes fixed. That means he knows this is what I want. When you become fixed, nishta, you first must have taste, ruchi. Then you come to the stage of nishta. That's actually when you make your takeoff in spiritual life. Very quickly you will get prema if you can do that. Fixed means you totally get, understand where the material is, nature is, where you are, what is your relationship like. Not that you feel, I have to do this. No, you're always thinking, I have to do it for Krishna, devotees like that. So in the end of the purport, Prabhupada writes, association with devotee means association with the Lord. Okay? So whenever we feel, why I have to go to this thing, why I have to go and associate? No, we should understand because the Lord is there. Right? Krishna says, whoever says he is my devotee, I am not their devotee. Whoever says that he is my servant or my devotee, then he is my devotee. And wherever they are chanting, I will be there, like that. So it's the same thing. Devotees talk about the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord. Okay? And then, when situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. Yes.
So someone, the same point that Krishna is saying servant of the devotees versus his devotees directly. So someone tried to recommend demigod worship through that point, in that look, demigods are also servant of the Lord. So
Yeah, you can.
bona fide to
Yeah,
follow.
you can also worship demigod, but you won't go back, get out of the material entanglement. You can read in the Bhagavad Gita, right? We have gone through that. Yeah. Krishna says, those who worship the demigods are less intelligent. Why would he say less intelligent if it's the same?
So he was trying to portray the value of Vastu Shastra.
Yeah, Vastu is different also. Even Vastu also you have to know there's a Purusha, Vastu Purusha, right? Yeah.
But that again has some demigods and all that.
There is always there, because Vedic culture is centered around the demigods, everything. For us to exist, Vedas deals with all of them. So definitely they are involved. But they are all servants of Krishna. Yeah. Even the Vastu Purusha is also have to be, he's actually representing the Supreme Lord, Vastu Purusha. Ultimately it is always under his, the Lord's purview. It's not like independently anyone. Yeah, so if you want a house to be safe and so on, you worship the demigod. But where is the demigod getting his potency from? Yeah. So therefore, akama, sarvakama, mokshakama. It doesn't matter what your desire is. You worship the Lord. Now if your house vastu is not perfect, you just make sure you have a tulasi in the house. She will make sure everything is proper. So worship of tulasi is important. Yeah, daily. And so it's all there, Vaishnava principle. Yeah, but if you can build nicely, accordingly, fine. But that is not the goal of your life. Yes.
So here in translation it says like he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion starts. So understanding the real devotion starts only when he is freed.
I already told you. You have to be fixed. That means you have to be free from anartha, nivriti and everything.
So that stage we have.
Yes, you have to come to nishta.
So right now
mostly now you all under bhajanagri. Yeah.
Okay, that's so we are even doing something. So it's a mixed.
Yeah, we haven't come to the stage of
So that's the real devotion.
nishta. Well, you can, just that we block ourselves, right? We focus mostly on material needs. We are not thinking I should focus on my spiritual needs. If you actually become very advanced, your material needs will be taken care automatically. Or you won't feel the need to do too much in your material needs. Yeah. You will know your duty, you will do your duties properly, but you are not attached to it. Yeah. Okay, text 26.
Bhaktya भक्त्या पुमान् जात विराग ऐन्द्रियात्
भक्त्या पुमाञ्जातविराग ऐन्द्रियात्
दृष्टा सुतां मद्रचनानुचिन्तया
दृष्टा सुतान्मद्रचनानुचिन्तया
चित्तस्य यत्तो ग्रहणे योगयुक्तो
चित्तस्य यत्तो ग्रहणे योगयुक्तो
यतिष्यते रुजुभिर्योगमार्गैः
यतिष्यते रुचिभिर्योगमार्गैः.
Thus, consciously engaged in devotional service in the association of devotees, a person gains distaste for sense gratification, both in this world and in the next, by constantly thinking about the activities of the Lord. This process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process of mystic power. When one is actually situated on that path of devotional service, he is able to control the mind. So this particular process, Sankhya Yoga, is also a Bhakti Yoga, but it deals with mystic, a little bit mystic yoga, okay? But devotional service. Now, the Kapila Muni is saying, if you do it in the association of devotees, you will quickly gain distaste for sense gratification. So you can't be just, oh, I don't want to associate with this person, then I stay at home. Cannot. Then you won't know. Your sense gratification will be there or will get worse. You have to associate with the world. Yeah, because of that it makes it difficult, but then you have to give up that ego and then associate. Oh, I don't like this person, I cannot work. That means you have sense gratification. That's what it is. That means you want to have your own enjoyment. Service is not for enjoying. Service is to please Krishna. So that consciously we have to understand, maybe we have some disagreement, but that shouldn't stop me from serving my Lord nicely. And then also you should think, disagreement, maybe I also foolishly say something, so I shouldn't hold grudge against another person. And so therefore devotional service in the association of devotees is important. Can't alone you go and do, you're not some Maha Bhagavati, We're not. Remember Prabhupada mentions earlier, the movement ISKCON is made so that we can have association and make advancement. So when we associate with devotees, automatically we find that mundane things don't make much impact in our life. We are not interested anymore, right? We feel like, let's go and meet the devotees, go to the temple like that. So that means your sense and your gratification is going down. If you don't want to go to temple and then just stay at home and do your own thing, that means your sense enjoyment will come and attack you. It will come ugly. Yeah. And if you can control it now, it is guaranteed that next life also you won't be bothered by your senses. That means because you have already controlling already. Yeah. Through devotional service, not any other way. So that will continue in your next life. Therefore he says both in this world and in the next. And what is the way? One of the ways to do? It's associating with devotees and thinking about the activities of the Lord. Okay. So when we associate with devotees, naturally we should be thinking about the Lord because we are thinking for His service. Okay. And when you are doing all these activities, your mind is definitely controlled. The mind is not wandering here and there. So if the mind is quiet, then your senses will be quiet automatically. So therefore there is no disturbance from the senses. In the purport, in the middle of the paragraph, Prabhupada says the sincere devotee who associates with devotees gets the opportunity to hear and contemplate the subject of the pastimes of the Lord. So when you associate, you hear about Krishna. The other thing is you can think about this association with the devotee and think, this topic we discussed, what is the value? How is it, it came up, so there must be a reason it came up. Krishna may be telling me something. He wants me to apply some things. So like that. So one has to contemplate on the subject or the pastime of the Lord. And the result is that he feels distaste for so-called happiness. So this must take place. If you do it properly, you should have this distaste for material happiness. In this or that world, in heaven or other planets. That means you won't think, well, if I have a better car, I will be much more happier in my life. But it's not like that. Definitely not. The same problems will be different type of problems. Or if I have a better kurta, I will look better and people will respect me. All these are nonsense. It's not going to happen. You know, people will respect you for who you are, not because how you look. So people think like that. Or if I have a new frame, and then I will be happy. Or if I have a new hairdo, then I will be happy. This is the material things in the world. Or if I dye my hair, then I look. Everyone will think I'm good, and they won't think bad of me. Right? This is a problem. So-called happiness. The devotees are simply interested in being transferred to the personal association of Lord. This is what we should hanker for. I want to go back to Godhead. I want to go and serve the devotees in the spiritual world. I want to serve Prabhupada in spiritual world. I want to serve my Guru in spiritual world. I want everyone here to go with me to the spiritual world. That should be the mood. Not I want to go and they can stay and rot here. This should be like, they have no more attraction for temporary so-called happiness. That is the position of one who is yoga yukta, fixed. Okay. Right? Yoga yukta means fixed, satisfied in the devotional service. Text 27.
आसेवयायं प्रकृतेर्गुणानां ज्ञानेन वैराग्यविजृम्भितेन
ज्ञानेन वैराग्यविजृम्भितेन
योगेन मय्यर्पितया च भक्त्या
योगेन मय्यर्पितया च भक्त्या
मां प्राप्त्यगात्मानमिवावरुन्धे
मां प्राप्त्यगात्मानमिहावरुन्धे.
Thus, by not engaging in the service of the modes of material nature, but by developing Krishna consciousness, knowledge in renunciation, and by practicing yoga in which the mind is always fixed in devotional service onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one achieves my association in this very life, for I am the Supreme Personality, the Absolute Truth. A long sentence. So, you can see what one should do to be dedicating the spiritual life. Thus, by not engaging in the service of the modes of material nature. What is the modes of material nature? Service to the modes, what are they?
Sense gratification.
One is sense gratification, what else? What do the modes of material nature do?
Keep us here.
They race.
By our
Huh?
required
They
nature.
race. They are in a race.
Okay, make
They
you
compete.
in a competition, in a race.
Make lazy. What of ignorance will make us lazy.
Okay, make you lazy, good.
Whatever our nature is.
all the duality.
See hot and cold,
Duality.
dualities, yeah.
Knowledge in mode of passion is
Cause
always
Cause for lust, greed and anger.
Cause for lust, greed and anger, yes, yes.
What of goodness will bind us.
Mode of goodness will bind you in
Feeling satisfied.
feeling satisfied, yes. She's studying Bhagavad Gita. What else? What else? Mode of passion,
Desires.
yes.
Unwanted
The
desires,
unwanted
no
desires, and if you pursue happiness in the beginning and
In the beginning, it's like nectar,
nectar,
and
and in the end it is
poison.
yes, poison. So all these things will happen if one is in the service of the modes of material nature. So you have to understand that. Not engaging means I don't want all these issues. You know, again, reflection has to be there. Why should I go through these difficulties, suffering? So then Kapila Muni says, but by developing Krishna consciousness. So what is that? So he says, knowledge in renunciation. So what is renunciation? We've discussed this many times. So what is renunciation?
Yukta Vairagya is like utilize everything for
Renouncing
the
the
service.
desire to enjoy
Renouncing the desire to enjoy
for my sense control.
for my senses, but for the pleasure of the Lord. So that must be there. I will use it in the service of the Lord's desire. That's more important for me. Right? And by practicing yoga, this yoga means Bhakti Yoga, in which the mind is always fixed. This yoga in which the mind is always fixed in devotional service. Bhakti Yoga for the Supreme Lord. So that means any activity should be for the Lord. Now if one is constantly doing that, Kapila Muni says, one achieves my association in this very life. That means he's guaranteeing also. Just like Prabhupada is guaranteeing in this very life. Why? And then he's saying that because I am the Supreme Lord, the Absolute. I am telling you that this is possible. Yeah. He's giving that benediction. So many ways. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaram. So as long as you can. It's like, like you all did your New Year's. People can go out and enjoy, right? They get drunk and whatever. So if you, just because you had this festival, New Year greeting, so many people came, right? And they get benefit because of that. So at least they didn't go out there and hugging, kissing some whoever they don't know or whatever. And then they came here to do devotional service. That becomes devotional service. And that gets purified. Prabhupada writes, towards the end, he says, Lord Chaitanya therefore approved the process of hearing from realized devotees about the pastimes of the Lord. It does not matter to what category of this world the audience belongs. So it doesn't matter. You had that last night with Kirtan, so it didn't matter who came. It was for their benefit. If one meekly and submissively hears about the activities of the Lord from a realized soul, he will be able to conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the way to hear, one must be submissive to what?
To instructions.
To instructions, to the hearing process itself. What else? To the speakers.
To the seniors.
Yeah.
Under whom they are serving.
Yeah, under who you are serving. Submissively. That means you are not against what they say. Basically, okay, I'll do what you want to the best of my ability. I'll do. That is submissive. Yeah. Meekly means humble or without fighting. Why are you telling me? Why can't you ask anybody? Okay, I'll do it. Okay, don't bother me. I'll do it. That mood shouldn't be there. It should be, oh, yes, thank you, because the service coming from Krishna. And so if you can hear from that person all the different activities of Lord, not just only Leelas, but the instructions, just like Krishna is giving instructions to Arjuna or Uddhava, like that. From a realized soul, he will be able to conquer the Supreme Personality of God. Just like you saw how Kardama Muni, when he did his austerities, the Lord came crying. So, because he conquered the Supreme Lord. There's so much affection, so much unbelievable affection. And he is Ajitta, he can't be conquered. Yet you can conquer him by your devotion, that's all. Hearing or associating with devotees is the most important function for self-realization. So, association must be there at all times. Every day must be some association. Not once a week, only on Sunday feast, even then come late and go back fast like that. That's not the right mood. It should be there to support. So if you all don't set examples, how can you expect your sishyas to follow you all? Right? All your sishyas will look and say, oh, my guru is not coming, why I should be?
That's what Malchand Prabhu was telling us. It's a New Year resolution, we need to try to do that.
Every year you are making resolution.
Huh?
Every year you are making resolution.
Well, you were saying that whether you want it or not, but you are becoming a role model.
Yeah. So you have to take responsibility. You have to be really, well, exactly, if somebody outside sees you and does some crime, it's because of you.
Yeah.
So even if you say I didn't, but because they took, oh, this guy is not interested, and because of that they also they came to the temple and say nobody is interested, so I'll just do what I want because of you.
Yeah.
Somehow you may not know, but because of you that happened. So you better set good example. Yeah? Just like your children, they are watching you. You think they're not learning? They watch. They are very fast. They may be doing something, but they are hearing, oh, okay, mom and dad are fighting, good. Like that. They know everything. Yeah, right?
Lakshmi thinks she understands.
Yeah. It is like that. So we have to be very careful. Yeah. So you are setting not only to younger generation, you are also setting to the wide world. They are watching. Everyone's watching. Very important. We have to set standards. Okay.
देवहुतिर्उवाच
देवहुतिर्उवाच
कच्चित्त्वयि उचिता भक्तिः
काचित्तयुचिता भक्तिः
कीदृशी मम गोचरा
कीदृशी मम गोचरा
यया पदं ते निर्वाणम्
यया पदं ते निर्वाणम्
अञ्जसान्वास्नवा अहम्
अञ्जसान्वास्नहम्.
On hearing this statement of the Lord, Devahuti inquired, what kind of devotional service is worth developing and practicing to help me easily and immediately obtain the service of your lotus feet? So actually, Kapila Muni has described the best way to go back to God here. Because she was asking what's the best way for me to get purified and all. So he gave through sadhu sangha and devotional service. Now she wants the details. How am I going to do it? Details of that. So she wants to know more details about particularly devotional service. So she's breaking it down. She wants to know what kind of devotional service is worth developing. Just only hearing, or what kind of practice, what are the, should I go on Harinam, should I do book distribution? These are things she's asking. Text 29.
यो योगो भगवद्बाणो निर्वाणात्मं स्वयोदितः कीदृश कतिचाङ्गानि यतस्तत्त्वावबोधनम्. The mystic yoga system, as you have explained, aims at the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is meant for completely ending material existence. Please, let me know the nature of that yoga system. How many ways are there by which one can understand in truth that sublime yoga? So there's a lot of yoga systems, right? But actually all the yoga systems are meant to culminate in the Bhakti Yoga. But a lot of the time people don't know. Because in Jnana Yoga they aim at what? Impersonalism, generally. And Karma Yoga aims at Karma Kanda. That's the goal. And then the mystic yoga aims at Astanga Yoga aims at Siddhis, mystic perfections. Yeah. But they know, they don't say, actually beyond that is bhakti. You have to develop bhakti. Even through all that process, one can still attain bhakti. They will not emphasize that. Yeah. But they are all actually meant for realizing Krishna. But the point is nowadays it's lost. That understanding is lost.
So we hear about this Raja Yoga. Is it one of these only?
Raja Yoga is also supposed to be part of the thing. What is Raja Yoga? King of Yoga. What is that?
No, you're talking about Brahma Kumari.
I'm talking about the Vivekananda people.
No, there are a lot of misunderstanding of what the right yoga is now. That's the other problem. But if you go by Bhagavad Gita, and so you know what Raja Yoga is actually. It's the king of all yoga process. It's actually bhakti, using jnana to understand that. Yeah. But everything is corrupted now. So you can get all kinds of yoga they are doing, right? Kriya Yoga, this. But what is Kriya? Even though we read in a few chapters ago, Kriya Yoga is still Bhakti Yoga. Kriya means what? Actions. So in another sense is Karma Yoga, but based on Krishna's pleasure. Yeah. So that's how the system now you look. Everything is like that. It's all hung upside down. Not only is the tree inverted, within that it's even more inverted. So one who
who actually understands this, everything here is crazy, I should be careful, then he can go back to Godhead, because he knows what I should avoid and should not avoid. Yoga should teach you that, what are the things I should take up and what are things I shouldn't take up. Yoga means should do that, help you abstain. Not like so many places they have yoga, for one weekend they'll have a yoga retreat and then they'll say go to hell after that, They say all of you go back and enjoy. See you in a month. Then they again, oh yeah, now surcharge, surcharge for what? To do nonsense, right? And then it's true. And then Hatha Yoga they do what? For what? So that they can have good sex life. But what is that? We can see all are corrupted nowadays. They don't really understand. They don't understand that actually if you abstain from all these things, if you practice celibacy, if you abstain from eating meat and all this, actually you become a better person. You develop qualities that you cannot otherwise develop if you pursue different ways. Yoga is meant to teach you how to develop this quality, and they cannot realize that otherwise. So oftentimes you talk to people outside, they'll say, oh man, you don't do this, you are missing out, man, all these things. What are you missing out that the cat, dogs miss out? Huh? What is that you are doing that even the cats and dogs don't do? So what is the difference? You're no different than an animal. Yeah. So when you raise their consciousness with with the favorable association with them, then they will realize, actually what is my difference between me and a cat and a dog? So this is how it is. Prabhupada writes in the last paragraph, sometimes it is asked, how, because people will always talk this nonsense, right? How the living entity falls down from the spiritual world to the material world. Here is the answer. Unless one is elevated to the Vaikuntha plane, is directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is prone to fall down, either from the impersonal Brahman realization or from an ecstatic trance of meditation. It doesn't matter. One has to do Bhakti Yoga. Otherwise you are in danger of falling down. Our position is Tatastha. We have to be with Krishna, otherwise we are in Maya. No choice. Okay. Text 30.
Adetanme vijanihi yataham mandadhir hare sukham buddhyeya durbodham yosha bhagavad anugraha.
Now Devhuti is taking a very humble position. My dear son Kapila, after all, I am a woman. It is very difficult for me to understand the absolute truth because my intelligence is not very great. Means not that she doesn't have intelligence, means she's talking in general, women are more attracted to something else, that's what she said. But if you will kindly explain it to me, even though I am not very intelligent, I can understand it and thereby feel transcendental happiness. So give me an easier way of approaching the Lord. So the Prabhupada says, the first line he says, knowledge of the absolute truth is not very easily understood by ordinary, less intelligent men. Okay, so that means all of us. We are not so intelligent. Men here means both men and women. But if the spiritual master is kind enough to the disciple, however unintelligent the disciple may be, then by the divine grace of the spiritual master, everything is revealed. Right? One who has faith in the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord, all the purports of the Vedas will be revealed automatically. That's what it is. Yasya prasada bhagavad prasada. Yasya prasada nagati kutopi. So by the mercy of Krishna you get a guru, and by the mercy of guru you get Krishna. Okay, so that is the thing. So here the guru is there, and then Devotee is asking the guru, please help me. And so by the mercy of Kapila Dev, Prabhupada says, by the grace of Kapila Dev, it was quite possible for her to understand the absolute truth, even though the subject matter is very difficult for ordinary persons, especially women, he says. So for all of us, it's very difficult. Not just women, for all of us, it's very difficult. But we have to take these necessary steps. Service attitude, service to spiritual master, service to devotees, like that. And serving everyone in general. Text 31.
Maitreya Uvacha Viditvartam Kapilo Maturitam Jatasneho Yatra
right? A small one.
Maitreya Uvacha Viditvartam Kapilo Maturitam
I think you got the right.
I think you got the right
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah, it was right.
Maitreya Uvacha Viditvartam Kapilo Maturitam Jatasneho Yatra Tanva Vijataha Tatvam Nayam Yat Pravadanti Sankhyam Provacha Vai Bhakti Vitana Yogam
Sri Maitreya said, after hearing the statement of his mother, Kapila could understand her purpose and he became compassionate towards her because of being born of her body. He described the Sankhya system of philosophy, which is a combination of devotional service and mystic realization as received by disciplic succession. So this system is, if they ask about Kapila Muni's Sankhya system of philosophy, it is a combination of devotional service and mystic realization. Text 32.
Sri Bhagavanu Vacha Devanam Gunalinganam Anushravayka Karmanam Sattva Evaika Manaso Vritti Swabhaviki Tuya Animitta Bhagavati Bhakti Siddher Gariyasi.
Lord Kapila said, the senses are symbolic representations of the demigods, and their natural inclination is to work under the direction of the Vedic injunctions. As the senses are representatives of the demigods, so the mind is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mind's natural duty is to serve, and that service spirit is engaged in devotional service to the Personality of Godhead without any motive that is far better even than salvation. Basically he's saying is, the mind is like the Supreme Lord and the other senses are like the demigods. Okay. So therefore the mind must be controlled. So what is the mind's natural duty? It wants to always serve by giving the wrong things in the material sense. But you train it, then that service spirit is engaged in devotional service, then the mind will control the senses. Like that. Okay.
What does it mean, mind's nature is to serve? Like mind has its own nature?
Yeah, every sense has its nature. So mind is the big guy. He wants or reject, accept and reject, using the intelligence. Enjoy, right? If you leave the mind on its own, it wants to go how to enjoy with the senses. Okay. But if you are Krishna conscious, then with your intelligence you tell the mind, no, I only want to do service for Krishna. Otherwise the mind on its own will pick enjoyment, material enjoyment. So it's like that.
The nature is to, the natural nature is to serve, but what is contaminated
Yes.
is trying to enjoy.
Enjoy, yeah.
Yeah, mind refers to both mind and intelligence. Actually.
Yeah, that's right. It refers to both mind and intelligence in this description. Yeah. Because it always wants to provide some opportunity, this or that.
So here the comparison of the senses to the demigods and mind to the Lord Supreme Personality is only to understand that senses are working under mind's direction, so demigods are working under.
Yeah, it's just an analogy.
That's only
So
an
don't overthink.
Because I
Right. In that context.
Just don't overthink in that. It's not like that. But on the another sense, if you really overthink, then you can say, what is the mind made of from? In the beginning of the creation. Huh?
Mode of goodness.
False ego with
Mode of
Mode of
goodness.
goodness.
mode of goodness is mind, right? And who is in charge of it?
Aniruddha.
No, yeah, Aniruddha, like that. Yeah, you can see it like that also. So in that sense, it is the representative of Supreme Lord also. But don't overthink it, because this is a very simple thing. Yeah, it's controlling the senses. So the Supreme Lord is
Controlling it.
demigod. So I want you all to think like that. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, the natural inclination of the senses is to work for something, and the mind is the center of the senses. The mind is actually the leader of the senses. Therefore it is called Sattva. Similarly, the leader of all demigods who are engaged in the activities of this material world, the sun god, moon god, Indra and others, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Clear? Okay. Then let's go to the end of paragraph, last paragraph. Kapila Deva said that when the senses, without desire for material profit or other selfish motives, are engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is situated in devotional service. Okay? As soon as you are doing it for pleasure of Krishna, everything you're using for Krishna, then you are actually doing devotional service. But whenever you are doing it for yourself, and you know that, all of you know that, we all know when we are doing it just for ourselves, then it's not devotional service. But if we are always doing everything for Krishna, then when we want to take bath or eat, that is also becomes service. Because you're not thinking of eating and then going to enjoy. You're thinking, let me eat so I can do more service. Let me sleep so I can do service. So that is what, without desire for material profit. That we can say now by after so many years, you say, I know that. It's not a question of you know it, you know. What is it? Huh?
It's a question of whether you apply it.
Yeah, do you experience it? Do you apply it? Yeah, that is what the whole point here is. Yeah? Otherwise it's not a big deal. Yeah, I also know I can write all the answers. Right? That's not it. Prabhupada towards the end he says the conclusion is that when the mind, without being deviated either by Vedic injunctions or by material activities, is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness or devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is far better than the most aspired for liberation from material entanglement. Generally people just want to be relieved of miseries, material misery. But that's not the goal actually. That is not really the goal. The real goal is Prema Pumartha Mahan. Going back to and doing devotional service to Krishna. So that is the real goal. Unless we really want that truly, then we won't be acting for it. We can't act for it otherwise. Because we haven't decided that's what I want. So then we can see in our life how we manipulate our lives. That's how it is. Now, deviated by Vedic injunctions means there are so many nice things in the Vedas. Oh, you can do this, is good for you. You can do Vastu, it's good for you. You can do this, it's good for you. No, it's true. And then you find some devotees are too focused on those things, the rituals and so on. And they forget that actually they should be engaged in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, you have to be very careful when and where to draw the line.
Yeah, when you get a house, you do some ceremonies or rituals. That's fine, but where to draw the line, right? That must be there. Yeah. That's important.
Haridas Prabhu is sharing this, that we say we don't kill animals and all that, and then some people will say, wow, you are breathing, at that time you are taking microbes. All the time, whatever even we are bathing, the microbes which are getting
Killed.
So he was saying that you will still get the karma for it unless the reason that you are bathing or doing any of these things is for the service.
Yes.
Otherwise we are always killing actually. So
that's why you have to be serious.
We should always be conscious.
Yes.
So if we are it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so when you go for service, then you know you're not doing anything wrong because you're service. After service, you go again and take shower and do other things, then you have to think, what am I going to do? How careful I have to be. That's basically the point, is you have to be careful. Yeah. So many things.
Yeah, because that's the nature of the material world.
Oh yeah, material world is for that. Yeah. Every step is.
Every step you are causing harm to somebody, knowingly or unknowingly.
Padam vipadam. Huh? Yeah, and one jiva is food for another jiva.
Yeah.
In every house also there are like 6 or 7 slaughterhouses, right? Every house has 4 or 5 places where we kill.
Pestle, the grinding stones, everything.
The
stove, and then
I think the
walking,
bathroom also.
So anyway, there's pancha yagna you have to do every day. They have to do the pancha. But Prabhupada says that if you do devotional service, then you don't have to worry about all these things. Text 33.
Jarayati ashuyakosham
Jarayati ashuyakosham
Nigirnam analo yatha
Bhakti devotional service dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. It's not that the fire digests all the subtle body, okay? Don't ask me that question. It's just an analogy again. Okay, Bhakti devotional service dissolves subtle body. What does it mean? It means it will get rid of your karma. Past, present, and future. From the Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana. Remember the Papa, Bija, Kuta, Prarabdha, Aprarabdha, all these things. So if you remember all these things, you understand, okay, all this will be.
But one remains.
One will be there, that which is manifested.
That's so that the body can continue.
Well, it's not that Krishna is going to change your body and say now you get a pure body. No, you just use it to show people that
till the end of the life. Yeah.
That even though we are suffering, we are still serving the Supreme Lord in that whatever situation. So the glories of the bhakti is enhanced. Like, yeah.
So here we say the subtle body is the mind, intelligence, and false ego, right?
Yes.
So when it dissolves, that means it's purifying.
Generally, subtle body is just the mind and your karma, like that. And it dissolves. That means you're going to take next birth. You have a subtle body ready, waiting for you. So by doing devotional service, that body goes away, so you don't have to take care. Okay. Huh?
No karma.
Basically, your karma is all gone. Yeah. No more of blueprint for the next body. That's what it is. Yeah.
So blueprint is your karma.
Well, yeah, based on your karma.
Based on your karma is the blueprint.
Yeah. So the material nature will look at your. It's unlimited, right? The database is so many. So you have so many nonsense you do. So for this next life, the material looking at the blueprint will take all those karmas that has to be used up. Boom, take the body. Like
at the time of death, whatever the impression is in the mind.
That's not complete. So whatever is due to pop up also will come in. Yeah. So that's how it is. It's just like maybe this karma you do so well, then you're supposed to look so beautiful, but then because of the previous thing that's coming up, then you look beautiful, but you have a big horn growing. Like that.
All mixed up.
Yeah, like that. Huh? Or you have a tusk coming, or you're a girl with a mustache, like that. Yeah. So this is how it is, that's how it works anyway. It's so complicated, it's very hard to understand. So let's not waste our time.
Also, your desire also plays a role, not just what you...
Yeah. Plus this life, because you're creating more. Passion means what? Passion means desire. And the more of passion means it's going to create unlimited desires. Right? So that's what we don't want anymore. Okay, we don't want that anymore. It's done. We have been through. It's a done deal. I've been through it. I've suffered enough. Right? We have to understand. I'm suffering. Yeah. Text 34.
नैकात्मतां मे स्पृहयन्ति केचिन् मत्पादसेवाभिरतामतीहः ये अन्यो यतो भागवत प्रसज्य सभाजयन्ते मम पौरुषाणि
A pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who always engages in the service of my lotus feet never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities. So in this particular verse, he's saying that the pure devotee does a few things. One is he is always engaged. So that means for us to be in the pure devotional path, we must also be always engaged also. Even though we may not be pure devotees. But in the path, we have to be always be engaged. So we have to find ways to be engaged in Krishna consciousness. And then we will know, yes, I am very Krishna conscious, I am somewhat Krishna conscious, I am little Krishna conscious, I am trying to be Krishna conscious. Like that. Or you don't think I am Krishna conscious, but you are Krishna conscious like that. So service of the Lord is so ingrained in them. He's attached to those kind of activities. I want to go and do those things. And one of the things is that they are never want to become one with the Lord. Never. That means they don't believe in Sahujya Mukti. They may accept the other four. The Sarupya, Salokya, Shashti and Samipya. But they may accept that. But a Krishna devotee, even that also they don't want. They only want Krishna service. So they say they don't mind even going to hell as long as they can serve Krishna. That's the difference. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, or Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati says, Kaivalyam Narakayate, the happiness of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, which is aspired for by the Mayavaris, is considered hellish. Okay? That oneness is not for pure devotees. So we have to understand. We are not into all those things. That's not what Kapila Muni is talking about. And he says very clearly, never desires to become one with me. Not at all. Okay? 35. What happened?
He's asking what kind of tea it is. He's very restricted and he's very austere.
It's austere. Oh, it's apples.
No, he's very austere, he's very strict in his diet. That's why.
No, morning I didn't want to take ginger, that's why.
No ginger. No ginger. It's cinnamon is okay, right?
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिराणि अम्बशान्तः
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिराणि अम्बशान्तः
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयं वदन्ति
Oh my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. So basically, if you are a devotee, you want to go to the temple to see the Lord every day. They like to look at the features of the Lord, they like to remember His form, different types of form. They like to see Him as Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. They like to see Him as Radha and Krishna. They like to see Him as Gauranita. They like to see Him as Shalagram, Shila. They like to see Him in different forms, which are all benevolent, which are all very good for us. When the Prabhupada writes, the devotees, they directly worship the personality of Godhead in His Archa incarnation. So all of you are, I'm told most of you are doing deity worship, so that's very nice. Archa refers to the form which we can worship in our present condition. So because we are so fallen, worshipping the deities is very important. Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God in His spiritual form because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of a spiritual form. So therefore, better to go to the temple and do service. The closer you are, the more you are intimate with Krishna. We cannot even see the spiritual form of the individual soul. When a man dies, we cannot see how the spiritual form leaves the body. That is the defect of our material senses. In order to be seen by our material senses, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts a favorable form which is called Archa Vigraha. So then you do Archana to Archa Vigraha. This Archa Vigraha, sometimes called the Archa incarnation, is not different from Him. Just as the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts various incarnations, He takes one forms made out of matter, clay, wood, metal and jewels, or even reflection also. Yeah. So you can see, a lot of times people say, have you seen God? Have you seen God? Yeah, we are seeing every day. No, I mean actually see God. That is God. What is the difference? That is God. That is Krishna. You foolish person. Just because you don't understand doesn't mean that's not God. So, people who cannot see, when they come to the temple and they cannot accept that, they are actually fallen. They are pashandis. Fallen, offenders. Yeah. Offenders. At the end of the second paragraph, towards the end, Prabhupada writes, the devotees express their minds before the deity. Right? You go and then you either complain or you say something offensive, right? So you express your mind. Oh, I don't like this devotee, I don't like that. And in many instances, the deity also gives answers. So you get more trouble or you get some relief. If you are offensive, then he will punish you for being offensive. And if you are seriously in pain and you need his help, he will help you. Like in the case of the Sakshi Gopal.
And Kanchipurna.
And?
Kanchipurna.
Kanchipurna, I don't know. But, oh, yeah, okay. Where the deity is eating also in front of the boy. I don't know why Laddu. He was nice. And then also Gadadhar Pandit also, he bent forward to, and then he stopped.
Alarnath also, that story is there.
Yeah, Alarnath also. Yeah.
That boy.
Boy Raghunath, what is his name?
The boy Raghunath, yes. Yeah.
Kirchur Gopinath.
Kirchur Gopinath.
keeps apart.
Madhavendra Puri, but he doesn't turn around. I'm talking about deities
That is
Speaking.
moving.
turning around is
Udupi.
Udupi, yeah.
that's for Kumbara.
Kum-
Bhakta Kumbara.
Kumbara. Okay. Yeah. So the Lord can do all this, even though deity form. Why? How is that possible? So that means He's there. He's there. It's doable. He can do it.
Actually, not Kumbara, it's Kanakadasa.
Anyway, when you decide, you do tell me.
Kanakadasa.
Kanakadasa. Okay. And then Prabhupada says, right, the deity also gives answer. So directly He can give you answer. He come in your dream to give you answer, or sometimes some devotees watch the flower fall and then they say, oh, that is my answer, you know. So the Lord may be dropping something to show you that that is the answer for one person. The other person may have just dressed. The Lord is showing you didn't put it properly. So for two things, He is answering two people with one action. Okay? So He can do all that, but we don't know what is happening. Huh? Govinda Dev came and spoke to him. Govinda Bhashya. Okay. But one must be very elevated devotee in order to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. So we are not on that level. Sometimes new devotees will come and say, you know, I was chanting and then the Lord winked at me.
Yeah.
They'll talk. And then I always tell them, keep chanting, He'll stop winking. It's funny though. So sometimes the Lord informs the devotee through dreams. Satyam Prabhupada is also saying. These exchanges of feelings between the deity and the devotee are not understandable by atheists. But actually the devotee enjoys them. Kapila Muni is explaining how the devotees see the decorated body and face of the deity and how they speak with him in devotional service. When you are neophyte, you want this kind of things. Wonderful stories and so on. You can't just read and accept. Somebody will tell you, Krishna came and did this. Then you're like, really? This deity? Then your faith grows. You see. So sometimes these things are there so that our faith gets stronger.
There's one family that's been coming to the temple for maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Then one time they invited us to their home and we saw that they have a picture of some guru on the chair and they have a shawl and everything. So then we asked about him. So they said, no, he's not there anymore on the planet, but there is one place, we go there in Redmond and we all sit in the room, and when we are meditating on him, then we keep smelling different aromas. And then the tape also, the CD also that plays, whatever he wants to hear, only that song keeps playing. Sometimes the same song will keep repeating, sometimes it will go in different things. Yeah, they said that. And that is all because he wants it. You know, the CD is always in the same sequence, but somehow it plays differently based on his design. So that's what we were saying, like what you're saying, that they like to, they're coming for so many years to the temple, but
they will imagine all those things.
they like those things more, so they started going over there.
Only one thing comes to my mind. I don't know.
Don't say
it.
it. Don't say it.
Maybe he's roaming around as a ghost.
You do not know. So.
So and then you can smell agarbatti and whatever question
No,
we
it's
have
all
gets
it's all in
answered.
the mind.
Yeah,
You know,
whatever
how you know it's
question-
agarbatti? Maybe they pass air also. They think it's agarbatti. You know.
No, they're saying I get chameli smell or my son gets mogra
Yeah.
smell and this one gets
Yeah,
that
they
smell.
all imagine they are smelling.
So one person-
How you know they are all smelling horribly and they don't want to say to each other that I smell horrible. They just saying, oh, I smell mogra.
If somebody is saying this, then they want to say,
Yeah,
oh, I also.
exactly. So, oh no, they're smelling. I didn't smell, so I better say something. And then the tape player may be broken, so it's jumping here and there.
Yeah,
The music.
no, but they're saying every sector this happens.
Technical and even CDs catches automatically
Yeah.
different sectors.
Exactly. So all these are nonsense. Anyway, if they are not on the good, proper Guru Parampara and they are not worshipping Vishnu Tattva, then we cannot accept all this.
No, and the height was Prabhu, she said that, in ISKCON you say don't do this, don't do that and all. This Guru, when he was on the
Do
planet,
anything.
he used to say, let's go to Taj and have coffee.
Okay,
And
then
we'll
you
discuss
know
spiritual
it's
matters
not.
together.
Then we just ghost.
Right.
But then it's a ghost.
No, the Bo Derek, Bo Derek much last week by another friend of mine. And he actually heard over the phone device and discover yourself from the Radha Gopinath. He heard over the phone. Somehow he's always interested towards little mystic stuff. And somehow he didn't get some of the points in GYS obviously. Then they also joined the same thing. And one day in the car, he's trying to preach to me. He's trying to, trying to influence me actually.
Yeah.
So now, and then he said somebody asked him that do you worship Krishna? Somebody asked that Guru. It's very offensive to say also, but that Guru replied, yes, I worship him and he worships me.
No, he thinks he's Shiva. That's
So
another
he
thing.
thinks he's Lord Shiva.
Whatever.
That's why he says he worships him.
More.
No, and now first I used to tell him, I need the car. Why don't you carpool with that
Yeah.
person? Now I tell him, don't go.
X36.
I didn't know what to say after that. I was really.
तैर्दर्शनीया वयवैरुदार विलासहासेक्षितवामसुप्तैः कृतात्मनो हृतप्रणां च भक्ते अनिच्छतो मे गतिं मन्विं प्रयुङ्क्ते
Upon seeing the charming forms of the Lord, smiling and attractive, and hearing his very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost loses all other consciousness. His senses are freed from all other engagements and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spite of his unwillingness, he attains liberation without separate endeavor. So these are symptoms of someone who is at the highest level. In the last paragraph, Prabhupada writes, it is a prescribed duty in temple worship that not only should one visit the temple to see the deity nicely decorated, but at the same time he should hear the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or some similar literature which is regularly recited in the temple. It is the system in Vrindavan that in every temple there is recitation of Shastras. Even third-class devotees who have no literary knowledge or no time to read Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita get the opportunity to hear about the pastimes of the Lord. In this way, their minds may remain always absorbed in the thought of the Lord, His form, His activities and His transcendental nature. This state of Krishna consciousness is a liberated stage. What is the liberated stage? They are always... Huh?
Always
Yes. Chanting, everything, form, activities like that. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 important processes in the discharge of devotional service. 1. To chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. 2. To associate with devotees and serve them as far as possible. Mostly people do 1. 2 is become difficult already. 3. To hear Srimad Bhagavatam, more difficult. 4. To see the decorated temple and the deity, and if possible, 4. Come to the temple, also that very only once a week. Even though they may live next door also. Oh, I'm so busy. 5. To live in a place like Vrindavan, Mathura. Oh yeah, I'm here in US, so how I can live in Vrindavan?
No, Madhachandra Prabhu was chastising me. You live in a heavenly place, you are staying outside, you don't come to it.
So therefore, many devotees will, after when they realize they can't do these things, they will purposely buy houses far away. So then they cannot...
Nobody can blame
and then nobody can blame them or call them to do surveys. And
Somebody
things.
told me that I don't want to buy a house close to the temple because it's too much pressure.
Too much pressure. Yeah, see, they feel the pressure. It shouldn't be a pressure. It should be too much excessive pleasure. So you can see everything is perverted in this material world. And we pervert also these things. Yeah. So we say, chant holy names. Yeah, I'm chanting at home. What are they chanting also we don't know.
So always during like this type New Year and so on, there are shows in the TV, football match and so people turn on Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, cricket match, right? Cricket match. A lot of people like to watch cricket. Indian devotees like to watch cricket. You know? They'll stay up 1, 2 in the night watching. Oh, India, India, Jindabad or whatever they say. What is that? I've seen so many devotees like that. They are so good, you know, everything. But when India plays cricket, only they are gone, all gone. Don't know where they are. Oh, I can't. I'm not feeling well or whatever. Then you find out they're all watching cricket.
In the morning only they complete the rounds.
Yeah.
That is that day.
Oh, they're eager to serve.
Take the cup.
Fill the cup.
It's too cold.
Prabhupada writes,
Can you get me more?
these 5 items alone can help a devotee achieve the highest perfectional stage. So these 5 things, very important. Holy names, association. Actually, the best way to make advancement is to associate and chant with devotees. So that you all have to. Once you do that, automatically you'll hear the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, that's what we were discussing in the telling us that we need to do the basics. Associate, right?
Associate, chant and read Bhagavatam. 3 things will happen at the same time.
Do it. Text 37. Write it in water.
Living in Vrindavan means any ISKCON temple is as good as that. That's what
It is if you believe that, but if you don't even go to the temple, then how can you say it is? Yeah. Only for one who goes daily, then it is he is living in Vrindavan, both at the temple and at his home, because he feels that. But if your consciousness is not on that level, then you are not doing it. Yeah, you were saying?
Yeah, this is what, if we are not going every day, then it's not a striking point.
Yeah.
We live in such opulence. It's a big luxury to live near the temple.
Yeah, it is.
It's like everybody, most of the devotees live within 5 minutes distance.
Yeah. If you read the description of Vaikuntha, how is it described? It's very opulent. Dwaraka and all opulent.
Yeah.
So if you live close by, that means you are in an opulent domain. But if you don't go and serve and see the deities every day, then it's not.
One of the Haridas lecture, Haridas was talking one morning class. He says devotee should come every day to temple at least once in a day.
Yeah, once in a Prabhupada
darshan.
says.
Then I was thinking, once a day to come, and at least he's not talking about far, at least close by.
Yeah.
Then understanding, okay, take darshan, those things, but it's have a lot of benefits even taking darshan, going at least once. It connects you with the Lord and you remember. He didn't talk about anything yet, sir. It's coming to temple, take darshan, sit or take prasadam.
Good. Text 37.
अतो विभूतिं मम माया विनस्ताम् ऐश्वर्यमष्टागमनुप्रवृत्तम् श्रियं भागवतीं वात्सहयन्ति भद्राम् हरस्य मे ते अश्नुवते तु लोके.
Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. So, when he is so surrendered to the Lord, everything is available for him. All these benedictions are there. But he's not interested. He's not even thinking, I want to go back to Godhead. He's thinking, just as long as I can do service, I'll be happy. That's how it is. So that is the position of a pure devotee.
Prabhupada writes in the purport at the end, devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planets and the Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned here, Bhagavatim Bhadram. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is eternally peaceful. Yet a pure devotee does not even aspire to be promoted there. But still he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual worlds even during the present lifespan. Okay? Because the Lord makes sure that he is always taken care of. So he has no problem. Text 38.
Nakarhi chinmat paraswantarupe Nangshanti no me animishole dihetihi Yeshamaham priya atmasutascha Sakha gurusu suhrudaivanishtam
The Lord continued, my dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulences are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their possessions at any time. Because anything that is transcendental cannot be destroyed. Okay? So basically that's what it is. And the Prabhupada writes, to like 3 or 4 lines down, he says, as far as the devotees are concerned, their assets, the achievement of devotional service, and the consequent opulence of Vaikuntha, even on this planet, are never destroyed. And later on he says, once one is fixed in devotional service to the Lord, his position of transcendental service cannot be destroyed. And the pleasure and service simply increase unlimitedly. For the devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness, in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time. Therefore, what is the question of destruction? In the material world, the influence of time destroys everything. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time or of the demigods, because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets. Whereas here in the material world, everything is controlled by demigods to some extent. And then in the next paragraph, towards the middle, Prabhupada writes, from this verse we can learn that we can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead as our dearmost object, as a friend, as a son, as a preceptor, or as a well-wisher. And there will be no cheating and no end to such love. We shall eternally enjoy the relationship with the Supreme Lord in different aspects. And finally, in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, by worshipping the demigods, one may elevate himself to the higher planets, towards the end. But during the dissolution of the material world, the deity and the abode of the deity will be destroyed. But one who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead is promoted to the Vaikuntha planets, where there is no influence of time, destruction or annihilation. The conclusion is that the time influence cannot act upon devotees who have accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as everything. So this is a very elevated devotee, advanced devotee, pure devotees. And so for them, there's always protection in any circumstances, even at the time of dissolution. And all they are thinking of is
Krishna.
no service to Krishna. That's why they're not thinking of, oh, I'm going to die. No, they're thinking, oh, how am I going to continue my service? See the stark difference. We may be packing things and say, maybe I need this, right? But we are not thinking. As devotees, we should only be worried where my japa bag is. Right? I shouldn't lose my japa bag, so I can chant anytime. And if you lose also, you can still chant. Yeah. You can chant in your fingers just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chants.
Only certainly that's good.
Yeah, that's how it's. Text 39:40.
इमं लोकं तथैवामुम्
इमं लोकं तथैवामुम्
आत्मानं उभयायिनम्
आत्मानमुभयायिनम्
आत्मानं मनुयेचेह
आत्मानं मनुयेचेह
तेराय पशवो गृहाः
येनाय पशवो गृहाः
विसृज्य सर्वानन्यांश्च
विसृज्य सर्वानन्यांश्च
माम् एवं विश्वतो मुखम्
मामेवं विश्वतो मुखम्
भजन्त्यन्यया भक्त्या
भजन्त्यनन्यया भक्त्या
तान् मृत्योरतिपारये
तान् मृत्योरतिपारये.
So again, this is referring to the pure devotee. Thus, the devotee who worships me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, in unflinching devotion service, Ananya Bhakti, gives up all aspirations to be promoted to heavenly planets or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, home, or anything in relationship with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death.
Very good.
This is, he's giving the boon, he says, without any deviation. Unflinching means Ananya Bhakti. Without deviation, focus. He's not even thinking of, even when you are a devotee, you sometimes think, so I wish I had some more money, or I wish I had this power, like that. So all this actually like heavenly planet desires or mystic power. We shouldn't desire that also. We should just be satisfied. Or we think we will be happy in my home, with my wife, my children, my husband. How the whole building will fall one day, how can you be happy? Right?
That's the thing.
You never think, what is that? You don't even know what if a mouse comes and make a hole, you get angry, right? You go and patch it out and say, my house, my house. It's so funny. Then next time you sell and go, you don't have any more attachment. How is that?
Money is there
Huh?
after selling.
But I'm saying it's just amazing, right? Your attachment is suddenly reverted to the money. But it's still something is separate, It's not even you. It's just weird if you think about it. But it's acting somehow. Prabhupada writes in the second paragraph, towards the 5th or 6th line, he says, for a devotee there is no concern for this life or the next life, because in any life he does not desire elevation in material prosperity or a high grade or low grade life. He's not thinking about all these things. He prays to the Lord, my dear Lord, it does not matter where I am born, but let me be born even as an ant in the house of a devotee. Do we worship like that? I don't think we worship. I don't worship like that. I just say, please get me out of this. I don't want to take birth again. I don't even say I'll be an ant, because I know it's so difficult. A pure devotee does not pray to the Lord for liberation from this material bondage. So we are not pure. Actually, the pure devotee never thinks that he is fit for liberation. Considering his past life and his mischievous activities, he thinks that he is fit to be sent to the lowest region of hell. So when you become very advanced, you feel that way, that you are not at all qualified. So that's why you will say like that. If in this life I am trying to become a devotee, this does not mean that in many past lives I was 100% pious. That is not possible. A devotee therefore is always conscious of his real position. Only by his full surrender to the Lord, by the Lord's grace, are his sufferings made shorter. Otherwise your sufferings are long episodes. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, surrender unto me and I will give you protection from all kinds of sinful reaction. That is his mercy, but this does not mean that one who has surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord has committed no misdeeds in his past life. We shouldn't think that we haven't done anything wrong previously. We must have done so many crazy things. Things that you don't want to know or reminded. You will feel really devastated and you will go crazy. things that we have done previously. So we shouldn't think, oh, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm such a perfect, I'm born in a perfect home, perfect house, perfect education, perfect husband, perfect wife, perfect children, and you are a perfect illusion. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, if you think like that. Totally crazy. Actually, not like that. Anything good in your life, you should say, think, the Lord is kind. He's given me something nice. Thank you for that, I hope I can use it in your service. Yeah. I heard one story about one, I don't know which temple, I forget now. In this temple, this girl, she's very pretty. So she always comes to the temple decorated very nicely and come. So the authorities told her, you cannot come like that. It's not correct, it's not good. Then she said, why? I'm only doing it for Krishna. So they were like, don't know what to say. Then the GBC said, no, it's not that. It's just that you are attracting other people. You say, but I'm presenting myself to Krishna. How you want me to present you? I want to do the best for the Lord like that. So it was a difficult way they were discussing. So particularly if she was ugly, nobody would bother, right? So the society is like that. In one sense it is correct, and another sense we'll say it's wrong. So unless you can read the mind of that person, how do you know the sincerity, right? She was definitely sincere from her point of view. I think they couldn't do anything because she kept coming like that. Yeah. What are you laughing? Yeah.
One time Mahatma Prabhu was here, he was sharing that the lady dresses nicely, said for the husband, not for Krishna and Mama. And Prabhuji was joking, he said, Krishna doesn't care. The lady is supposed to dress nicely for the husband, not for Krishna. I just remember that.
He was saying like that.
He was saying that.
Well, Krishna is completely what? Renounced. So therefore, yeah. If you understand that, then
he was saying somewhere it's written that girl
you got to present nicely. When you're going to temple, you got to be clean and simple and nice.
You should present
no question of that.
But not.
But you don't have to put makeup and.
No. She's just attractive, so she puts more decorations and so on. So they just couldn't handle that. Like I'll ask you, it's like, what is that famous actress in Bombay now? Most beautiful one?
Aishwarya.
Okay, Aishwarya Rai. If she comes to the temple now, what happens?
Everyone looks at her.
Yeah, even if she wants to come to take darshan also, so are you going to ban her and say don't come? So it's a difficult thing, but you also have to use your intelligence.
She will become old, so she can come here. She will become old now.
Oh, she's become old now. Okay.
In Chennai temple.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good one. Request her to come to Mangala Aarti. Then everybody will come for Mangala Aarti. Hopefully they look at the deities.
Does she charge a lot of money to come?
Actually, in our old Redmond temple, once actually a Bollywood cine artist from previous generation came, and also lots of people were listed. I don't remember. Some other devotee told me the story.
No, but the main thing is, it's a problem from one point of view, but the person who has endowed that facilities, they have to see it correctly. That's what we are talking about. Like if you have beauty, if you have wealth, you should use it properly. Even if like Ambarish Prabhu, right? He has wealth, but he's using it in the service of Krishna. He's building a new temple and so on. Yeah, so he's favorably. It should be like that. So in that sense, it's like that. Everything must be used in the service of Krishna. So you must be intelligent enough to use it in the service of Krishna. Yeah. But I think the way she should have done is covered herself properly, just for Krishna. Then she should go. But then some people they just challenge authorities.
I think it's lack of training.
Yeah, basically it's a person who's brought up in a different culture. Next paragraph, Prabhupada continues. A pure devotee is not anxious to elevate himself in his next birth. He has already given up that sort of hope. Because he's pure, he feels he's so fallen. In any life in which one is born as a householder or even as an animal, one must have some children, some resources or some possessions. But a devotee is not anxious to possess anything. He is satisfied with whatever is obtainable by God's grace. He is not at all attached to improving his social status or improving the status of education of his children. He is not neglectful. He is dutiful, but he does not spend too much time on the upliftment of temporary household or social life. He fully engages in the service of the Lord, and for other affairs he simply spares as much time as absolutely necessary. Yutarham upayunjataha. Such a pure devotee does not care for what is going to happen in the next life or in this life. He does not care even for family, children or society. He fully engages in the service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. So this is a description of someone who is very advanced. Text 41. Yeah.
This verse, Yatharham Upayunja.
Yeah.
Which word? Maybe we have to search.
No, it's in Bhakti Rasamrita. Favorable and
oh. Okay.
What is that? Anasaktasya? Yeah. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha, that verse. What is that, Prabhu?
Renunciation.
Yes, yes. Yukta Vairagya. Text 41.
नान्यत्र मद्भगवतः प्रधानपुरुषेश्वरात् आत्मनः सर्वभूतानां भयं तीव्रं निवर्तते.
The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. So, the worst, the scariest thing is death, then it comes. Actually, taking birth is also scary. It's just that we forget. We can't remember how terrible it was. But death is something that will come next. From the time we are born, we are thinking we will die, or we try not to think we will die. But every day we are coming closer and closer to death. We cannot run away from it. The Kala Chakra is moving, which means we will have to give up this body. And before that happens, we must take shelter of Krishna fully. Otherwise, we will be crushed by the wheels of the Kala Chakra. And so this point.
Yesterday only in the midnight, Srivastava was talking that when New Year comes, we become 1 year older. So we should make reaffirm our vows to chant better, to improve our service better.
So did you all make the vows? You didn't say it. Prabhu, what?
No,
We make the vow, Prabhu is asking.
Yes.
Will you reaffirm or no?
Reaffirm, Prabhu said that. So.
I know everybody heard. The point is, did you all make the vow?
He will make it.
He will
We will make it.
Okay, all of you made the vow.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking.
He made a silent
I cannot say from others. Because Prabhuji said, because he's waiting for the end of the whole 12:30 in between devotees have left and other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that verse, Balaram Lila. 12255. 1.2.255. Anashaktasya Vishayan Yataraham Upayunjataha Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Muchyate. I think we did that, right? We did that. Accepting everything in relation to Krishna. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And then using it in the service of Krishna.
Text 42.
Madhvayadvati vatoyam.
42.
Yeah, that's correct.
Suryastapati madhvayat.
Suryastapati madhvayat.
Varshatindro dahatyagne.
Varshatindro dahatyagne.
Mrityuscharati madhvayat.
Mrityuscharati madhvayat.
It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows. Out of fear of me, the sun shines. Out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. So everything is fearful of the Lord. Basically, they are all doing service for the Lord. Text 43.
Jnana-vairagya-yuktena.
Jnana-vairagya-yuktena.
Bhakti-yogena yoginaha.
Bhakti-yogena yoginaha.
Shemaya padamulam me.
Shemaya padamulam me.
Pravishyantyau kuto bhayam.
Pravishyantyau kuto bhayam.
The yogis, equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for the eternal benefit, take shelter of my lotus feet, and since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear. So similarly, when we have sufficient knowledge, we should understand what we can use for Krishna consciousness, what we cannot use for Krishna, what we should accept, what should be rejected, and in that way we please the Supreme Lord in the service, then He will also accept us into the kingdom of God, and we won't have any fear by such service. The fear comes because we don't know the outcome. But if you know, by service you will understand, the knowledge is given, that I am going to be protected by my Supreme Lord. Because again, Bhagavatam Sattvatam Pati, He is my protector. So therefore I don't have to, what?
You were reading that
You were
verse.
memorizing that verse the other day.
Very nice. Pasyanti cha Atmane Pasyanti.
Tasmat
Tasmat
ekena
That's the
manasa.
first one.
That's
What is the last one? Bhakti?
the last line.
Yeah.
Nityata. Dhyayas Pujyascha.
Dhyayas.
Bhakti, Bhaktya.
Yeah. Dhyayah pugyascha nityata.
Yes. Yeah. So eternally, huh?
Second chapter.
Second chapter.
Second chapter.
First
Everything
canto.
divine service.
Yes.
16th.
Everything is there. That chapter is a whole summary of
That's-
devotion.
yeah,
So
just
you need to
that
only
chapter
know
is-
that.
Yesterday that's what we were discussing, like that just that second chapter alone. is
Yeah,
sufficient.
that's enough actually to know the whole thing here. In a sense,
Every verse is a gem.
Especially
every verse is a song. Huh?
Especially
Oh,
16 to
Prabhupada
22.
included it in his poem in the
Yeah.
Janasuda, so you can imagine.
Yeah. Text 44.
एतावन्येव लोकेऽस्मिन्
एतावन्येव लोकेऽस्मिन्
पुंसां निःश्रेयसोदयः
पुंसां निःश्रेयसोदयः
तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन
तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन
मनोमय्यर्पितं स्थिरम्
मनोमय्यर्पितं स्थिरम्.
Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. So the example given is by Prabhupada is Maharaj Ambarish. Everything he does, everything is perfectly engaged in the process of pleasing the Lord. Everything is engaged for the pleasure of the Lord, not otherwise, not for anything else, but just to please the Lord. Huh?
He was perfect in all the 9.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Shravanam.
Bhagavan Sattvatam Bhati. Then Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Deye Pujascha Nitya.
I would like to read from the second chapter, 39th verse, purport regarding the Sankhya Yoga.
Second chapter.
39th verse. First chapter, Bhagavad Gita.
Oh.
Thus, the Buddhi Yoga mentioned in this verse is the devotional service of the Lord, and the word Sankhya mentioned herein has nothing to do with atheistic Sankhya Yoga enunciated by the impostor Kapila. One should not therefore misunderstand the Sankhya Yoga mentioned herein has any connection with atheistic Sankhya, nor did that philosophy have any influence during that time, nor would Lord Krishna care to mention such godless philosophical speculation. Real Sankhya philosophy is described by Lord Kapila in Srimad Bhagavatam, but even that Sankhya has nothing to do with the current topics. Here, Sankhya means analytical description of the body and soul. Lord Krishna made an analytical description of the soul. Thus, the soul just to bring Arjuna to the point of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Lord Krishna's Sankhya Yoga and Kapila's Sankhya, as described in Bhagavatam, are one and the same. They are all Bhakti Yoga. Lord Krishna said, therefore, that only the less intelligent class of men make a distinction between Sankhya Yoga and Bhakti Yoga.
Yes. And the reason is because they go by word jugglery. So Sankhya means they go according to that. Oh, there must be this. So, and that's all they think. The foolishness. They really don't understand what the real understanding is.
Of course, atheistic Sankhya Yoga has nothing to do with Bhakti Yoga, yet the Ananta has inclined that atheistic Sankhya Yoga is referred in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. They didn't understand. They just don't know what it is.
That's what I heard. Even like some people coming in Vaishnava Sampradaya, when they go comment on this particular verse, they say they bring actually atheistic Kapila.
Oh no, that's wrong. They shouldn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Vaishnavas should never.
That's what I said, like, because people are like misinformed in Kali Yuga.
Yeah. But according to Guru Parampara, Ramanujacharya won't mention all that.
Yeah, but people are like
in his description of Bhagavad Gita, no. Even Bharati Vidya Bhushana also never touched on this. So that means there's something, yeah, these people are not following the Guru Parampara.
So what I heard is the three different Sankhyas. The one atheistic Kapila, that just talks only about matter and
material
energy, how it works.
Yeah.
And what Krishna teaching in the second chapter is Sankhya Yoga, the difference between matter and spirit.
Yes.
And bringing one up to the platform of Bhakti. And the Sankhya described by Kapila Dev in Bhagavatam is pure devotional service.
It's devotional service. He will go break down now, next chapter onwards. He'll break down matter to show that how where everything sits in relation to the Supreme Lord. So it's there. He does break it down. That's why it's called Sankhya. But the point is, a lot of people just see the word Sankhya and then they are stuck with that. And they think, everything is matter and spirit like that. And then they don't even go to spirit anymore. So that is the problem. And then they believe they have, the Eureka moment for them, I've understood. Yeah. But it's not. Yeah. The real Eureka moment is it's connected to Krishna. Then they are favorable. Alright, so that's end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Glories of Devotional Service. So you see, he's just glorifying the devotional service. And he explains what his teaching is. Devotional service and mystic
Mystic Yoga.
Mystic Yoga. That's right. Alright, so we'll stop there. So today, stop.